And we are live.
Oh my God, we are
Guys,
back.
we are
Hello.
back
Hello.
Number 3.
with the
Guys,
countdown like New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that was nice.
Nice.
it's been a
Pretty.
hectic week. Before we get into it, well, let me introduce myself. I am 1/3 of your host, Robert Schneider, and with me, as always, are Oliver Gruner and Matt Armstrong. Guys, how was your
Yes.
Christmas?
Great.
Business as usual.
Yeah. Smaller
Nothing too
get-togethers
exciting.
this year,
Yeah.
but got to see everyone and good time.
Since
No
I am,
movie under the tree this year because I bought everything I wanted.
Yeah.
Way ahead.
did you guys get any cool new movies or anything that you really wanted collectible wise for the holiday?
No movies for me. I got some whiskey, some really nice whiskey that I wanted.
Nice.
But no movies. I did experience a movie that kind of ruined my Christmas, which was Matrix 4, but we won't get into that.
No,
So
we won't.
I watched a little of it, and I will say I love meta movies,
Mhm.
but it might have been too meta for me.
Right.
I'm excited for it, so
Yeah.
don't spoil anything.
I'm gonna watch it again just because first time
I
there's a
don't-
lot to take in, but
I don't care what anybody else thinks.
yeah.
I think it's probably a great movie.
So, one of my friends said this was her quote. She was like, "Robert, Matrix 3 is no longer the worst Matrix."
There is no bad Matrix movie.
There is.
No,
There
isn't.
there was the Matrix, and then there were the sequels that they tried to shoehorn in once they saw the Matrix was successful.
All great.
No.
So,
In fact, I'm gonna start a new podcast called
we
The
are off
Matrix
topic.
Sucks. All right, we're off topic.
We want to talk about Vinegar Syndrome.
Yes,
and what's
we're talking
happening
about Vinegar Syndrome
on New Year, in the new year. Let's talk about that.
and boutique labels. Yes, in the new year.
Yes.
Why don't you go first, Oliver?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about their announcement that they are going to not release, but apparently they found a couple of out of print VSA titles, and
I like how they found.
yeah, of course, their storage is very big.
It's like, guys, let's put these ones over in the corner for a little bit, and then we'll find them and we'll be able to sell them maybe for a little bit higher prices. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think they're gonna be more expensive?
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
Really doubt.
I don't think
doubt
so. No. But probably some intern stole them and hid them on the toilet.
No, to be fair, they do have. They always hold back product in case of limited editions, in case one gets a damaged disc or a disc doesn't work. So they always hold back product. Maybe this is just it's time to just haul them, put them out there.
Maybe, yeah. So are there any titles you're hoping for that they found in the facilities?
Since I have all the VSA titles, no. But I hope you guys get Action USA and Martial Law. I hope those are the two that they found.
Those are the two I'm hoping for. I do kind of want I think it was a VSA what was it, Necro something? I remember it incorrectly here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that was one of them.
I don't remember. There was
like a blonde on the front that had like glowing green eyes, I believe. I kept saying
that was not a VSA title. No, it was. Yes, it was. It starred the woman who was in Vice Academy 3.
Okay. Yeah, I kept saying I'll get it next time. And then when I was finally ready, it was gone.
And then you have to go to eBay and pay $100.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
That's the problem. I think. All right. So when they announced VSA, I was pretty angry that these are movies that are not included in your subscription. But the VSA titles have been some of the more fun titles, except for Evil Town.
I haven't seen that one.
Only because
Nobody likes it.
it's basically the same movie as another one they released, and I can't remember the name of that one. Evil of the Night.
Mm.
Same exact movie, same exact producer, same plot.
Half the same title.
Is Evils of the Night good? Do people like that one?
Evil of the Night is interesting because it's the only movie where you can say you have porn star Amber Lynn and Yvonne DiCarlo from The Munsters in the same movie.
when people say a movie is interesting, what do they mean? A movie is interesting.
That means it's not good, it's not bad, but you should still fucking watch it.
Well, probably one time, and then you put it back on the shelf and never watch it again.
That's usually what I think.
Yeah.
So how often when you're watching a title from Vinegar Syndrome or Severin or any of the other boutique labels that you just watch and you go out, you say to yourself afterwards, I will never watch this one again?
I think there are titles that are so interesting that you could watch them again with a group, like Winter Beast is the perfect example. I think it's the perfect movie to watch with friends, but alone it's still bad enough to be funny and interestingly made. The effects are very, very unique, I think. So that's one where I would say that's interesting, and I watch it again with a group of friends. But then
I would say that. I would agree with that. Matthew, what about you?
I'm kind of the same way. I mean, there's been movies where I've watched once and I'm like, wow, I'm never gonna even look at this movie again. Matrix 4. But I'll watch it again. But I think the one that comes to mind, and I don't know if a label has put it out, but I watched just streaming one day on Amazon Prime a couple years ago. I watched Thanksgiving. And I was like, wow, what did I just watch? This was like ridiculous. And then I found myself like making different people watch it over and over again. So it's like, I don't know, there's stuff that's so bad that's, I don't know, you think you're not going to watch it, but there's a lot that I've found myself watching again.
I will say with like Dark Tower is one that I will never ever watch again. I thought that was so bad. But at some point, because how much I like Tick, and I believe those two had the same director, even though I swore I would never watch it again, I might go revisit it again at some point. But for like a lot of the Vinegar Syndrome films, specifically for VSA, I find those titles are more rewatchable than a lot of the main Vinegar Syndrome ones. Like,
yeah, I can see that.
Like, I go look through my collection, and the other day I was going to watch why can't I remember the name of it? Fudge. The one with the pajama where they sold the pajamas that came out.
Don't Panic.
Don't Panic. Yeah. I was going to watch Don't Panic again. But the thought of watching this horrible Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I just couldn't do it. And then I went and rewatched Cthulhu Manor, which is worse than Don't. But the cheesiness of that film is one that I can constantly rewatch over and over again.
Right.
Just have it on the background.
So do they have a criteria for a VSA? Like what makes it a VSA? Is it just something that went straight to TV or straight to video or something?
The mission was these were the movies that you saw on your videos, the shelf of your video stores back in the day. And to be honest, I did see Martial Law, the Tiger Claw movies. I remember those being on the video shelf. I don't remember any of the other. Vice Academy, I remember seeing them on USA Up All Night, but I don't think I ever saw them on VHS.
Right.
Okay.
But if we also look at the criteria for the homegrown horrors, the majority of the Vinegar Syndrome label could have been in that box set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
What I would like to see them do, maybe at some point in the future, is do a homegrown horrors, but do 3 or 4 releases and just do it state by state.
That would be
Oh,
cool.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, Michigan, Ohio. They could do it. They could probably do 20 volumes on Florida.
Yeah.
Basically, what Arrow is doing.
In what way?
No, the Wisconsin box set, for example.
Well, that was one filmmaker.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But still, they are all from or shot in Wisconsin, right?
No,
No,
I
thought
not
so.
all of them were.
Okay.
I think 1 or 2 of them might have been shot in California, but no, I'm talking about the he came from the swamp. It came from the swamp.
That's different box set.
Yeah, but the producer. I don't think all the movies were actually filmed in Florida. I don't think all the ones were filmed in Wisconsin, though they were both based out of there.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, that would be nice, state by state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, I do not recommend the Weird Wisconsin box set. It seemed like that's 2 movies.
I just got it recently.
Were released by Dark Force and Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, okay.
The ones on there were just they were difficult to watch. The documentary on Bill Rebane was really good.
But I think the other one, he came from the swamp, is better, right?
The documentary is good on that one as well. I only watched one of the movies on there, and I thought it was interesting.
Oh,
and then
so boring and bad.
Yeah.
Just say yes. It's okay.
It's a different kind of filmmaking.
Yeah, it's.
What about you, Matt? What are you looking forward to next year?
Well, most importantly, the Action USA and the martial laws. I think I got into Vinegar Syndrome kind of like right after those had come out, and I think those ones sold out pretty quickly. So I never got a chance to get those, and they're ridiculously expensive now. So if it's those, I'll get online when the ball's dropping and see if I can snag them. But other than that, the Necromancer I was trying to get for a while and couldn't get, so I'm hoping for that one too.
Yeah, did that one go into print?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's out of print, but I know it's out of stock.
Okay.
Have you
checked out Diabolic, Grindhouse, or Orbit for it?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I hate the fact that they go for $100 or more on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. It's okay. Everybody can do what he or she wants, but it's still, I think, buying those titles just to sell them for a higher price on eBay. It's not a good thing for the community.
Right.
I disagree, because I think if you were able to grab it when it came out and there's a demand for it, you should be able to sell it for whatever the person is willing.
That's what I'm saying. You can do whatever you want, but at the other hand, it would be nicer for everybody to have the opportunity to get the title, even if it's out of print, for a decent price.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Both ways are okay.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. And I hope you guys are able to get the VSA titles you want, because they are.
We have a cheap Blu-ray version of Martial Law 1 and 2 in Germany, so I got that for like €10, $12. It's okay.
You'll get them. I know. I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing reprints of VSAs next year or the year after, because why should someone else make all the money by putting out Action USA in a not unlimited version, when Vinegar Syndrome can, like, all right, we're going to take away the box, the slipcover and the poster, and
Mhm.
you guys get the movie,
Yeah.
which at the end of the day is the most important thing.
Yeah, you see that in the UK. I think we talked the last time about it. One of our films is basically releasing Vinegar Syndrome titles in the UK under their umbrella, and I think that could happen also with VSA titles.
Hold on, did you say 101 films?
Yeah.
Not to go off topic, but I just got my first 101 film this past week, The Last Broadcast, which is a found footage film from the late 90s, came out a year before Blair Witch.
Oh, nice.
And 101 films, first of all, have made a shitty film look a little bit better, but the extras on it are just great.
Cool.
So
Nice.
I'm hoping they will be putting out more region-free stuff in the future of movies that I like.
But the movie itself is interesting, you say?
It is. There are a lot of flaws to it, and you can tell this was a movie made for $900.
Oh,
But
okay.
Wow.
Nice.
it's a very interesting story, and I kind of like the ending to it.
Okay.
Because I do like nihilist endings.
But it's not a Blair Witch Project contender.
No.
Okay.
No, the only similarity is that they were both found footage films.
Mhm.
Blair Witch is a better movie than The Last Broadcast. It's made by filmmakers who have gone on to do other things. I don't believe the two guys who made this movie really did anything else beyond it.
That's how it goes.
But it's a fun movie. I am kind of interested for next year, because we are kind of coming up to Vinegar Syndrome's 10th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they will do something like they did with the 5 years, 5 films, but they will do a 10 film.
Right.
Or in honor of it, this will be the year they start upgrading either movies that were just on DVD to 4K and Blu-ray, or Blu-ray movies to 4K.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yeah,
honor
I would like to see some of the DVDs getting upgraded.
The problem is a lot of the majority of the DVDs were porn.
Right.
And
yeah.
I don't know how the Sex World 4K sold, if they're going to do another upgrade to that that form.
What about these drive-in titles? Those
Which ones?
The drive-in double feature DVDs.
They've announced they're bringing that feature back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if they would, there were some of those that I think would be nice to get them on Blu-ray. There was one called The Hang Up. Whatever that movie was on a double feature with would be great to get both of those onto Blu-ray. But one of them was on 5 films, 5 years.
Nice.
I would also like to start seeing. I mean, they're running out of slipcovers for legacy slipcovers.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know which I'm guessing is pretty much a easy money for them. What are they going to do once they stop? Once all their main titles have gotten slipcovers?
Right. Well, do you think that they're just throwing those on there to try and sell those titles more?
Oh yeah, to move in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Definitely.
Punkfication
I'll buy them.
isn't selling because that movie sucks.
I think it's both. I think it's a customer service because people want them, and they use it to sell their old stocks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will say the only slipcover that made sense this year, and technically it should have come out last year, was the Rudy Ray Moore one to coincide with Dolomite Is My Name.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think there was a moment they almost lost the rights to those films too, so that's why they didn't. So before we get to the movie, we are at 8 subscribers right now. We are at 8.
Ooh.
3
Okay.
probably us. And I would like to get us to 500. So here's what's going to happen. If we get to 500, I will do an a cappella version of the hit song from Champagne and Bullets, Shimmy Slide. I will do it in its entirety. I will embarrass myself, all for 500 subscriptions.
Is there some sort of dance involved?
I will do my best to reenact it as I'm reading the words to the song and sitting on my couch. But I will do, for subscribers, I will recite the Shimmy Slide. If we do 1,000 subscribers, I will do something even more embarrassing.
Ooh. Things
I
are
don't know what
wild on here.
I don't know what it is. But I will do it.
You're on a mission.
Yes. I'm on a mission for us to get into 4-digit subscription numbers.
Yeah. That's also my goal for next year, to have 1,000 or more subscribers.
But to do
as
that
as a community, people who join the live stream and discuss those movies with us.
Yes,
not just
hopefully,
a number is boring.
and hopefully next week we will actually, as we do our special New Year's Day episode, we will actually have subscribers joining us, but we will talk about that later.
Yeah. Let's talk about the movie.
Before we jump into the movie, we were talking about all the releases coming out for January, and I did find that post I was talking about, Robert. I'll just say them real quick, and this is from someone in the Vinegar Syndrome fan group. His name's Jason Bene, one of those, so I'll give him some credit here. But he does say some of these are set in stone and a few are speculative on my part. And I'm not sure which are which, other than number 1 here is the Dead Heat 4K. Number 2 is Curfew. I don't know what most of these movies are. Number 3, there's Master of the World. Number 4, he's got Forgotten Jolly Box Set Volume 4 featuring Arabella Black Angel. 5, Roberta Findlay's Anyone But My Husband and Sweet Pumpkin I Love You. Then he's got a VSP. And then these last ones might be the speculative ones. But he's got the Unknown Man from Shandagore, Video Violence from TerraVision, The Midnight Swim from Yellow Veil, and a Fun City Edition film. So I don't know which ones of those are speculative, but
okay.
Before we talk about, let's actually talk about that 20. According to the banner at the top of Vinegar Syndrome's webpage, 20 new releases, including partner labels, limited amounts of out-of-print VSA. 20 releases is a lot of movies.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I do feel like I remember hearing something about Invisible Maniac for January too, a long time ago. I don't know if that'll happen, but I feel like I remember hearing something about that.
Yeah, I mean, the Picorama, which every subscriber from last year will be getting sent to them. A new VSP. I can't figure out what that would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I also don't like the frequency of how often these are coming out.
The VSPs.
Yeah.
Maybe they put up a real production company behind doors.
Though I will say both VSPs so far have been, content-wise with extras, better than the majority of Vinegar Syndrome releases this year.
But explain to me the difference between the VSP of New York Ninja and the VSP of Censor, because they didn't produce Censor, right?
No, they licensed Censor because it was released film. It was made on film, 16 millimeter or 35 millimeter.
Why is it a VSP title?
Because the VSP is going to be distributing movies theatrically. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did that with New York Ninja. I don't think Censor even had a domestic release here in the States.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I never heard of it until a few months ago, until one of my friends started talking about it. But
I remember watching the trailer even before Vinegar Syndrome announced their release. So in some way there was marketing for it. But I can't remember the country the trailer was for.
I just remember friends of mine were talking about it, and then I went looking for it on Amazon to watch. It didn't stream there, and then early November it came on Hulu, and I watched it there for the first time. Went, oh wow, that's really good. But then when I got the disc, I'm like, wow, this is they put a lot into this.
Yeah, basically everybody on Facebook is saying it's one of their best releases ever, including the movie
from Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think their best release from this year was New York Ninja. Nothing can top that movie.
I think they are also talking about the movie itself.
I'm talking about the movie too. Nothing.
Okay.
I mean, New York Ninja is a film that should not exist, and they created something out of footage and turned it into a somewhat comprehensible story. I think it's an achievement that makes it probably the best disc of the year, not only from Vinegar Syndrome but from any label.
Oh, okay.
And 2021 has been a really good year for movies.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it was.
Better or worse than Kung Pao? Ooh, thinking about that one.
I don't know.
All right, don't break my brain. Don't break my brain. Let's talk about Deadly Games: Dial Code Santa Claus. First of all, how many of you have seen it before?
I
have not. I have not either.
Never heard of it before.
Okay. What in 5 words describe your overall reaction to that film?
Ooh. 5 words.
A darker and more courageous Home Alone.
Okay.
5 words. I'm gonna say. I'll say loved it. Confusing. And I'll just say uncomfortable montage for my other 2 words.
Uncomfortable Montage is a great band name, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. Copyrighted.
My 5 words would be the movie's fearless. So fearless. Horrifying. And I'm going to use the last 3 words just to shame the main actor. I hate mullets.
I guess 5 more words going into this will be, how big is this house?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on. We were talking before we went live. What kind of mother doesn't know that there is a secret part of the house filled with collectible toys, airplanes?
It's basically a house in the house. He has his own, like, a backyard.
So I know everyone compares this to Home Alone, but I was getting a real like Dexter's Laboratory vibe.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know that.
It's a cartoon here where
Okay.
the kid's a genius and he just has some like huge laboratory hidden in their house and parents have no idea.
Well,
Basically, the kid is as smart. He could have been like he's an inventor. All the gadgets he made himself. He programmed a 3D model of the house with a 1980s computer. So it's pretty impressive. Like
Mhm.
in the first 10 minutes, I was hooked within 10 minutes of the movie, I have to say.
Mhm.
Yet the kid still believed in Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
rightly
kid,
so.
a kid that smart would have deduced and run programs on his computer to determine if Santa Claus was real or not.
But in the end, you do things because you gain something from it, and to believe in Santa Claus gives you the like holds up the dream of receiving many presents for Christmas.
Mhm.
So not believing in Santa Claus could destroy his dream of getting presents.
You know what kid did not need any presents? That kid.
Yeah.
That kid had a
But
part of the
we
house.
we never saw his wish list, but he had one.
The smartest kid in that movie was his friend who said, "Don't do this."
Yep.
Smartest
Movie,
kid in the movie.
the end. Don't do this. The end.
What was his name? Pooley?
I don't remember because I don't.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
And
Something
I
like
have
that.
that song stuck in my head.
Yeah, very confusing song.
But what else is confusing is this movie was made, what, early 90s?
No, 89, 88,
89.
89. Yeah.
Was the fact that they had public internet in France to talk
Mhm.
to people. I myself thought that was weird and then did research and found out that company existed in that format in France until 2012. That means the French were so far ahead of us in America with introducing the French wide web to their people early on.
So since we're talking about that, um, this this movie left me with three questions that I'm hoping you guys can answer throughout this conversation. But the first one is these machines, and for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, it's dial code Santa Claus. You're pretty much using the internet and having like a chat room conversation with someone who is supposed to be Santa Claus, right? That was my takeaway from this.
That I don't know because it
Okay.
seemed
No, I
like
don't
that
know.
the one where the vagrant, or we'll call him the evil Santa throughout for the rest of it,
Right.
just seemed to be in a shopping plaza that
Right.
happened to be on the wrong side of that call,
Yeah.
which
So
makes me
that.
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
if the kid misdialed.
Okay. Okay. That would make sense. Well, the Santa Claus thing was like coming across the screen though too.
Right, but that was something
Yeah,
the kid created.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
was okay. Well,
yeah.
that makes sense then because I didn't know if this was supposed to just be like a company that's doing this, which would be
No,
which would be
that was the
normal.
kid. It was the kid
Okay.
to end the chat because the other guy was getting creepy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of answered your first question. What's your second one?
So yeah, I didn't know if these machines were just connecting to any random person who wanted to talk, and one of them's supposed to be Santa Claus. um,
Could be.
Second, you just want me to go through them, or do you want me to kind of
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
please,
talk
please.
go
about them
ahead.
when they
Go
pop
ahead.
up? All right.
Go ahead.
Let's see. That was that one. Okay, so second one, this kid lives with his mom and his grandpa. Um, and there's a lot of things that come up about, at the beginning they're talking about how smart the kid is, and the grandpa says he's definitely your son, and the mom says he's more his father's son. And then we're introduced to this like factory-sized hidden room with all these toys in it, and they say, you know, these are all my father's toys and his grandfather's toys and all of our ancestors' toys. So like, who was his dad? I thought they were going to reveal some like I thought his dad was going to be Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
then
don't
he
know.
wouldn't be sending a note to Santa. And his dad died. His mom was
Yeah.
with him.
Well, I didn't know if he actually like knew his dad ever, or because it
He
just
did
seems.
because he said his dad took him down there and it was a secret.
Oh right, yeah.
Which always creeps me out is when an adult takes a kid somewhere and says, "Don't tell anyone, it's a secret." Child Protective Services needs to be called at that point.
Right. Yeah, I just thought
That's
that
true,
was I thought that was interesting to like I felt like there was a backstory that could have been explored a little there.
Well, it could have
It,
been, yeah.
it really seemed like the director, through his choices of how the filters looked on the lens and the music, that he was trying to create a very fairy tale-esque atmosphere for this story.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it does follow along in the steps of a fairy tale where the kid is out there to confront the big bad wolf, the bears, whatever, on his own. And in this case, it happens to be a killer Santa. That said, how mentally messed up was this guy? Because it seemed from a scene at the beginning where he's trying to play with the other kids,
Mm-hmm.
does he view himself as a kid himself?
Right, that was
Could
my
be,
third
yeah.
question.
Okay.
Maybe.
Because yeah, that
He
happens.
definitely wanted to play with the kids all the time. And he got rejected at least 4 times during the movie before
Well,
he was pushed over to go nuts.
the scene with the girl when his hand touched her face way too long is
Yeah.
probably one of the creepiest scenes in the movie, but also it got even a little more frightening when she said, "You're not Santa Claus. I don't like the look of your face."
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I think that might have been the final thing to set him off.
Right.
No, I think the fact that he got fired was the final thing.
But he never really got fired because he didn't stick around for that. Once he
That's
figured out
yeah,
what the
that's true.
address
But
was,
he didn't have a
he was
job as
like,
Santa Claus afterwards, so
yes.
he lost his job.
Yes,
Either
and the
way,
only reason he took the job was to be around kids. So we have now answered our own question that guy was a pervert.
Well, there were other
No,
parts.
I don't
that
think
kind of-
so. I don't think
kind of-
so.
yeah, there were other parts that
I
kind
don't
of
think.
led me to the, you know, not grown up, not quite grown up kind of story where, you know, when that little toy train got sent to him down the hallway, he kind of looked at it in a way like he was amazed by it, and you know, he when it came to him, he like pretty much hugged it, wound it back up, and sent it back.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he
Right.
did just like want to
Okay.
play.
And I think at the end, if once he catch the little boy, and then he says like, "Now you go and
Yeah.
seek
True.
me."
They're playing hide and seek. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had a lot of opportunities to go like play with the kid in another way, but chooses to play the normal game.
Mm-hmm.
Was he going to kill Thomas? Was that his intention?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know either. So he did hurt him on purpose a couple of times.
Right, but was he going to kill him
I don't
like he
know.
killed the caretakers?
Yeah.
I mean, for a horror movie, this movie has a very low body count. I think
It wasn't a horror movie. I don't
two
think
people
so.
died.
And the poor dog.
Yeah.
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 So
Come
that
on,
was
did
the
you
most
say
brutal
this-
scene.
Did you say this isn't a horror film?
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's a
I
horror
don't
film.
see it. I don't see it as such.
What's your take on it? What's your
So it's not because it wasn't scary for me. It didn't look scary. It didn't look like it tried to be scary to me, but it was a thriller. Could be a holiday thriller.
I think it's a horror film because of the killer. That there is so much.
There are so many thriller out there where you put the killer in an insane.
So all right. So you consider in the same vein as Fade to Black, which was also I think you consider it also a thriller.
Yeah.
But I think the horror comes from is that while the kid lived in a mansion, it seemed like a pretty small space to try to escape from, and that's where I think the horror comes from.
Yeah, and he locked them all in there with his armband.
Yeah, that's true. But he had like, how many times did he go out of the window? At least twice, I think.
You're right. You're right.
And the front door was also opened a couple of times by whoever. I think the way he played with the killer and the other way around, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but that took a lot of the horror-esque elements out of the movie for me. But which is not a bad thing, but that made it for me not a horror movie.
I can see
the
that.
traps. So I don't want to compare to Home Alone because it's not in any way, and it was even released at the same time or earlier than Home Alone, so they don't have anything going together. But I think the traps were way darker than in Home Alone, but not so dark that I would consider them as a trap from a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, let's look at Kevin McAllister and Thomas. Kevin McAllister was a normal, everyday kid. Thomas was a genius with a mullet. Kevin McAllister had a loving family. Thomas had a mom who worked too hard, a dad who was dead, a grandfather who loved him but wasn't dependable, and two caretakers who died pretty quickly in the movie. Kevin McAllister did it all on his own, even though he did have a little bit of kind of sort of help from the next door neighbor. Kevin was able to stop two burglars from terrorizing his neighborhood without killing anyone. Thomas killed Santa Claus. And at the same time, killed his innocence, because at that moment, his love of Santa disappeared, and he knew the world wasn't light anymore, that it was dark, which means probably 10, 15 years, Thomas himself became a psychopath and went on to terrorize the kids in France again.
I did think that was the best aspect of the movie, is that this whole time, Thomas still thinks that is Santa Claus, who's like trying to kill him just because he tried to see him.
Yeah.
And at the end, when it comes in and, his body's laying there, and his conversation with his grandpa about, how can you know he's real? No one's ever seen his dead body. There's his dead body. And he's like, in that moment is still just like, wow, that's Santa Claus, and I killed him.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
In self-defense.
Yeah.
He killed him in self-defense.
Yeah. But what was the darkest part for you guys? What was the darkest part of the movie?
I'll tell you, the darkest part was the initial conversation between him and the guy. Basically, Thomas became this unwitting victim because he invited Santa Claus into his home. Mm-hmm. Nothing good came from that moment.
Yeah, I think the same thing.
Interesting.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the Santa Claus character as a whole was pretty dark, and maybe it was just because you don't know anything about him. You just know, like, hey, here comes this guy who's wants to be around kids all the time, and now he's literally climbing down a chimney to come be with this kid that he kind of like stalked down. And I don't know, that just kind of makes me think if there was some kind of backstory that because this movie was 87 minutes long. I wonder if a bunch of it got cut out, and some sort of
Or
backstory got cut out with the Santa Claus character.
or the more interesting aspect is doing what we're doing is we're filling in his backstory to make him a more frightening character.
Yeah.
Right.
So I will like. I like movies where they don't tell us everything and we have to draw our own conclusions. I think Deadly Games did this really well.
Mm-hmm.
I do think a line of dialogue is all they needed was to give a backstory to the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like like in the scene where he's playing with the kids, an adult comes out and basically yells, "Get away from here. I've told you, stop playing with the kids." Something. Or if we look at the I think Sean Baker's Florida Project. Have you guys seen that?
No, I've heard about it.
It's not a good movie. But it's about these kids who live in motels, and like the main character, her mom is a prostitute, and William Dafoe is the manager of the hotel. But this old guy comes up to the hotel, and basically William Dafoe's character comes out and basically says, "Get away from here." He's like, "I just came here to buy a soda." And just something like that, I think, could have added a little bit more tension to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. To me,
But
yeah,
I'm sorry. Go on, Matthew.
yeah, the darkest element for me was the scene where the kid builds his own grenade. Because if that thing works, the movie's over. And Santa has a couple of holes in him. I think I got goosebumps when the music started and the kid started to fill in the gunpowder from the firecracker and the or what did he use?
It looked like marbles or something.
Yeah.
But let's also talk about that, because the kid obviously loved action movies, and with him putting on him the outfit was kind of reminiscent of Rambo.
Yeah, of course.
Tell
yeah.
that scene was where they paid homage from.
Yeah. But building your own grenade with the intention to use it indoors, that's sinister.
So that beginning scene, that beginning montage when he was dressing up, was that a rip-off Eye of the Tiger they were playing?
It was
It
was the stock music version of Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
So it had the same opening beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a fun movie. I think it might be probably the best Christmas themed movie Vinegar Syndrome has released. Sorry, Christmas Evil.
I was gonna say, is it just those two?
What about the fact that most deaths were off screen?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I kind of like that. Again, you draw your own conclusion to what happened. It's kind of like in Bollywood films where they're not allowed to show kissing. Instead, they go to a musical number, and you can just imagine, oh, this musical number represents how amazing of a kiss that is. Or in Stanley Kubrick's version of Lolita, where everything happened off screen compared to the late 90s remake on Showtime, where it showed more. Than the Kubrick version was creepier because, again, you drew your own conclusions into what happened.
So when you say that movie is a horror movie for you and you don't see most deaths, I think to me that adds even more to the notion that it's not a horror movie but a thriller.
But again, I don't think a horror movie needs to be gruesome.
No,
While
it doesn't.
I enjoy the blood, I mean, if you look in the horror films of the 30s and 40s, more of them are thrillers compared to horror films. But there's still a horror element. The fact, all right, I'm talking myself out of it because this movie is basically an 80-minute cat and mouse chase, which makes it a thriller. So it's a thriller with horror elements.
Okay.
But
You want
one,
Oliver, are you
one
happy?
down, one to go, Matt.
I think we can also say that this movie is an illustration of the class struggle. There you have Santa Claus, a poor homeless man, where the government has basically thrown him asunder. Then you have the rich family that he goes and attacks because he wants what they have. He wants the wealth. Well, actually, no, I take it back. He had no idea where they lived. I was going to do this whole class struggle thing that I was just riffing. I did not think it through before.
Well, that is an interesting part too, because he had that conversation with Thomas on the computer thing, and Thomas said, "My mom is the manager of that place," and he goes to that place to get a job. So I don't. I feel like he had some sort of intention with Thomas from the start, from that conversation.
Thomas invited him over to play.
Yeah, it could just be that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what goes through people's heads when they're about to do something stupid like this guy.
So what do you guys take away from? I think it was the last part before Santa Claus's demise, where it shows his face and he's that's an interesting chat where it shows Santa Claus's face and
hold on. Are they coming? Are they coming on? Is Loveface XYZ coming on to us?
It looks like it.
I love the fact that we have bots as our audience.
It's so sad.
I'm gonna go. You know what? I am going to go interact with them right now in our chat room.
See if maybe it's Santa Claus. But what did you think of the last scene before Santa Claus's demise, and it like zooms in on his face and he's crying? What did that what do you think that was all about? Do you think it was like, wow, this kid is really trying to keep me away, he doesn't want to play anymore, or do you think that he thought they were playing the whole time? Or
a little bit of both, I think. I can't say, I don't think he was really aware of what he's doing all the time, at least not 100%. I think if the dog hadn't showed up when he came down the chimney, I think the movie could have went in a total different direction. So basically, he wants to play with the kid, maybe not in the way the kid wanted to play, but I think his intention was not to kill someone.
No, I
don't think so.
I agree with that. I think he was pushed to it by the way people treated him.
Yeah.
There is something kind of else that's interesting. I'm sorry, Oliver. Continue with what you were saying.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm done.
That this movie kind of predicted some of the horrors that the internet has brought into our lives. Like rule 1: never give anyone any personal information.
Do you mean predicted or invented?
I think it predicted this.
I think it invented it, because if they were first, then they made them up.
I think they might have seen something that could have been a problem. Hey, if we're able to communicate digitally, you might not know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And as we saw from the all real, not manufactured documentary Catfish, and its subsequent series on HBO, I'm not HBO, MTV, is that there's a lot of people out there pretending to be someone they're not.
Yeah.
So this movie basically showed a crazy French guy pretending to be Santa Claus to come over and play with a 10-year-old kid who still believed in Santa Claus. Things got out of hand. People died. He killed a dog, all because this kid gave way too much information on the internet.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
So-
he killed the dog or he put the dog out of its misery? Because that kid was just throwing that dog in traps and
yeah.
throwing.
No.
That's a topic
No,
for another day.
that a dog is a man's best friend, and he was not doing anything to hurt the dog.
No,
Yeah.
but I think one interesting thing they didn't go on with was the fact that the kid has basically a speaker system in every room of the house, and he uses it to play his Rambo stylish whatever he's doing, his little war in the house. And I thought, okay, he's going to use his speakers later on if when Santa Claus is in the house, and he uses them to frighten him or something like that. And they didn't go with that. That was interesting to me.
Might have been too easy that the super genius kid with a mullet decided to zig when everyone thought he would zag and use that.
Yeah.
All right. How many bad Santas would you give Deadly Games, dial code for Santa Claus?
I give him 3.
3.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, what about you?
This is gonna be my highest one so far. I'm gonna go 4.
Nice.
I really enjoyed this movie, and I thought that the kid who played Thomas, his name was Elaine Lalanne. I thought he was a awesome actor for a little kid. Like, if we're gonna make Home Alone comparisons, he blew Kevin McAllister out of the water, I think. But
I would like them to make a sequel to Home Alone and this movie where Kevin and Thomas meet as adults.
To take down the ultimate threat.
Yeah.
To take down the whatever the burglars were called from Home Alone.
Yeah.
The Wet Bandits.
The wet I'm sorry, the kids of the Wet Bandits.
Yes.
And the kid of this Santa Claus.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna say 4. I liked the little kid. I loved the atmosphere. Kind of gave me like like a low budget kind of Tim Burton-y kind of feel almost. I really enjoyed it. 4. Final answer.
Nice.
I will also give it a 4. This movie would have been a 5 if they, as Oliver said, if maybe they had a little bit more character development in there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But otherwise, I think it was a phenomenal release from Vinegar Syndrome. I think it was their second 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Looks stunning, and it's just a good. I'm sorry, it's a not so feel good holiday release.
Yep.
But it's another one you can put on every year. I think you can rewatch it and enjoy it.
It's also the kind of movie that you want to show friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Something we said for the last 2. We said we would love to see remakes of the last 2. You think this one remake territory, or do you think it's?
I don't think it. I don't think it needs it because while the movie seems a little outdated with the technology used in the film, it also seems it would be a much darker movie that couldn't happen in the same way today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it would be. I feel like it would become like much more catfishy.
Yeah, but I think it's one that they should not remake. as we saw how the Home Alone remake turned out, I have not seen. But I should say everyone should join us next Saturday, not next Sunday, as we are going to do our first watch along with New Year's. I'm sorry, Bloody New Year's from Vinegar Syndrome.
Bloody New Year, yeah.
Please join us. I'm going to do a much better job of promoting the show in advance so we can get people to actually join us for this one and not just love face XYZ. The question, how come they just couldn't, if they're trying to be, whatever they are, online strips without something, how come they're not just love face XXX or love bod XX? What?
That was taken.
I don't know. Yeah, it was taken. Another bot had that.
And this is how the war of the bots is going to begin.
All right. Yeah.
Before we go, we're actually a minute over.
Oh, no.
We'll see you next year. Hope all of you have a very safe and happy New Year's Eve. And join us next Saturday. Join me, Oliver, and Matt for Bloody New Year watch along next Saturday, 1 p.m. ish on this channel.
I'm going to watch the indicator version. I'm
You're still
outing
watching
myself right now. Yeah, I'm excited.
And if there's any movie you would like to see us talk about, please let us know, because we will find a way to watch it and give our expert amateur opinion.
What do you mean? You're all experts here.
All right. We'll
Nice.
see y'all next.
All right.
See y'all next Saturday. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. See you, everyone.
Bye.